Nextera Community Benefit Agreement, $100,000 for the cupola. Engineering worked with legal, and we did a bid for the cupola. The bids came in anywhere from $100,000 to $300,000. Most of the bids, most of the qualified bids, were in the $150,000 range. That said, I'm confident that we may rebid this, allowing for different material for the top of the cupola. I know there are certain area experts that have the wherewithal to actually construct the cupola, and I've spoken to engineering, Chantesta, Teresa, our purchasing agent, and I think we can rebid it, allowing for different materials. And we could do that right away.
Okay, so Ken and I spoke with Joe Petrucelli
That's what I was just gonna say.
probably a month ago. And he had a couple ideas of how to do it. But as far as the dome went, we were going to try to keep that copper, and the rest AZAC, just because of the whole maintenance factor.
Sure.
You could build it for $100,000 for wood, but you'd be up there every 5 or 10 years scraping and painting it. So it's just not worth it. So we plan to go with AZAC. The lowest competitive responsible bid was $157. That was in November of 2021. Some of the prices for materials have tripled since then. And we're still planning to go with the AZAC, and that's one of the things that's tripled.
I would just, say that if the prices have tripled, they've tripled. The problem is that the cupola needs to be replaced, so one way or the other, we're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
So I think the sooner the better to go out to bid and give potentially alternatives in the bid for the roof and of the cupola and whatever materials you want to try to sub in to make it better. But the sooner the better.
I would piggyback on that availability may be scarce, so the sooner the better for that as well.
Okay.
Absolutely, and I think that we had agreed that construction was going to start last fall, correct?
Well, that was the goal, Supervisor, and we did everything required with the bid.
We need to move on this.
But
It's, unexpected.
when the bid results came in, some of the bidders were not qualified, and the other bids were too high. So what I'm suggesting is we build some flexibility into the bid. We've done that before on other projects. Allow the contractors to, quote, make alternative recommendations. I'll take Drew at his word, it's probably going to come in more than the original 100,000. And in between now and the bidding process, I'll work with the town board, Dawn, and engineering to find the additional funding to do it. But it's an easy way to rebid it immediately now,
Yeah.
amending it to include that flexibility. We do it all the time.
How long is it
And
before?
the prices are not going to go down.
That's
They're not
correct.
going to go down.
Right.
So how long would it be before we can put it up for rebid?
We can probably,
Almost immediately.
turn it
Can
around
we
in
get that done?
2
Do you agree
weeks.
to get that done?
Where's the
Sure.
funding coming from for this?
So the original funding was through the Nextera Community Benefit Agreement, wherein the town board designated 100,000. Okay? So eventually, Nextera, pursuant to their agreement, they've only made their initial payment as required pursuant to that agreement. They will have to pay their second agreement. Don't quote me, I didn't bring the agreement with me. I think upon certificate of occupancy.
Which is happening very soon.
So I can check with building and planning and see where that is, and if that's near, I can prepare a resolution to amend the original one to account for the additional funds that we need.
just don't get sticker shock if it's, you know, up towards $200,000. This time, we're gonna ramp down on the, or ratchet down on the, qualifications in that we're going to require 3 cupolas be installed, at least 3 cupolas, because last time we said, construction of an ornate and historical nature, and we had people who thought that putting in fancy molding was historical and ornate, so we can't have that.
Oh, this is a no-brainer. It's about time. We did promise it to them. They're waiting for it. I know that Jamesport Civic has reached out to me, and we need to move on. So basically, I think this work session is just to say we're putting it out to rebid and see
Yeah.
where we are, right?
As long as we have the
Right.
money, we can do it.
Right.
Of course,
I mean,
yeah.
And masonry work was already accomplished there, right?
Sorry.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Dawn, did you have something to say?
No, I'm good. I just,
So can we, do you need a resolution? to be
Yes.
drawn up on? Can we
Yes.
pull it on the floor for the next meeting so that it moves us along quicker?
Well-
Or we get it in?
Or ratify it if you want to get going on it right
We're
away.
gonna
Yeah,
get-
let's
we're
get
gonna
it
get going on
ratified.
it immediately
Yeah,
as
that's
soon
a
as
great
I get
idea.
out of here,
Let's
so.
get it, we gotta move
Ratify
on
it
this.
and
Well, as soon as I
Price
get
is
out
only
of
gonna
here.
go up.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Do you address what you're doing? Is it filled with bats?
no,
No?
bats in the belfry,
Oh,
no.
watch too many horror movies there, huh?
Okay.
I think we need to move it forward
Yeah.
as quickly as possible. They've been waiting,
Not a
we
problem.
promised it, we initially had the funds. So basically, we're just dealing with an administrative process.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
I mean,
Emily, please
I
move
just
it
want to
forward.
say on behalf of town staff, we have moved it, tried to move it forward. And even after we had to reject the bids, we continued working, engineering, continued researching to bring us to this point.
So here's what happened. We were given a budget of $100,000. We bid it. The lowest responsible bidder was 157. We thought that maybe we'll rebid it this past spring because possibly the prices will go down, and they didn't. They went way up, so it backfired. So
Yeah, and
now-
they're gonna
Now
continue
here
to
we
go up.
are.
The copper's off the hook right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, so we have our marching orders.
yes, you do. Thank you, Emily, for
problem.
working on this, because I think it's important.
So the next item for discussion.
That was the easy one.
Yeah. So the next item for discussion,
Hold on, I only had one. Oh, okay. I have two.
Sharper's Hill.
Good, okay, 'cause the-
Sharper's Hill. So by resolution 858 adopted on December 3rd of 2019, the town board approved the funding through the community benefit agreement for Solar One. And the total amount was $81,600.
Can we just turn her
Go
phone
on
off
to-
or? I'm sorry, it's hard to hear you.
Is Dawn part of the conversation?
Dawn, do you need to be part of Sharpers Hill as well?
Definitely she
I'd
does.
like to, if I can
Yes,
sign
Okay.
please,
off, that
yes.
would be great.
It's just
You can sign
background.
off. Okay.
Yeah, just move it away from the mic, like a
I
foot.
think you guys have it under control. I
Okay.
talked to Anne Marie and Bill, but it would be great if I could jump on.
Absolute-
If you need me, give me a call back.
Okay, will do. Thanks, Dawn.
All right, thank you, bye.
Great.
So I don't know if the town board heard. So you adopted a resolution. You agreed to fund it through Solar One Community Benefit Agreement, $81,600.
When was that? When did we agree?
That was on December 3rd of 2019.
That many years, and we still haven't been able to produce?
Correct, but again, this was a partnership with the county of Suffolk for the preservation of this property. It's interesting to note that in the 2003 master plan, this piece of property was actually identified as appropriate for a small pocket park, hamlet park. So prior to this resolution, the then town board approved the goal to preserve it, for that purpose, and they partnered with the county. The partnership included the county would purchase, the town would improve it and maintain it. When you partner with the county on a project such as this, and Drew will attest to this, the county requires approval of your plans and a, quote, management agreement, kind of outline the steps to moving forward. Councilman Bayrod is liaison to Open Space. Open Space was the one who appeared before the town board and advocated for the improvements. Engineering at the time didn't assist and did an itemized proposed expense, and that's how we came up with the number. Drew and I, for some time, and I
Emily,
know
what's the cost that we're talking about?
projected 81,600.
Okay.
And I have it itemized. So, Councilman Bayrod, Drew, myself, have been on chains of emails for
Okay.
probably close to a year,
Over here,
okay?
yeah.
Wherein we were looking for that agreement from the county. Also, the county was requiring, before we did any work to even mow a path to assess it, that we needed their approval as owner, remember?
Right.
So, yes, it's been a long process. And then I'll let Drew take over.
You all done? That's it?
Well, I'm not done, but.
You
I'll
know,
let you
Emily,
jump in.
she's not done.
Okay, so we received that resolution and kind of a narrative / conceptual plan from the county when this initially started a couple of years ago. In the proposal from the county, they showed a 2.1 mile trail. We prepared a plan and an estimate, submitted that to the county. We included, asphalt trails, the way we did up at, EPCAL. They wanted dirt trails 3 foot wide. So they wanted, from what they stated in writing, they wanted from us was the contractor's proposal to deliver a 3 foot wide dirt trail. And we cut the loop out, which was over a mile, that went by the old Native American burial ground, because, the Montauk tribe wanted us to do a ground penetrating radar for the entire site. So we just cut the loop out and made a short path that's only about a quarter of a mile long, straight into the woods, and then you turn around and come back. Woods are very, very thick, and when you do cut the trail, even if you were to trim all the way up, which would be 20 or 30 feet, it's gonna come back very quickly. And once that comes back, then you have the potential for ticks. So we submitted, well, the contractor and I, went on the path that was mowed by the county, and we wheeled it and actually walked it twice. The contractor said he would come back with a proposal for me, and what he had planned to do was use the backhoe and make an earthen trail that was 4 foot wide. So we got out of there, we left, and I was in Tyvek, taped at the bottom. When I took it off, I had over a dozen ticks on me. And Bob Panchak, who had come with me, he had over a dozen ticks as well. I ended up getting bit 9 times. Had to go on antibiotics, and it lasted like 2 weeks. It was awful. If we put the public in this park, I can guarantee, and our guys too, because they're gonna have to maintain it. Our guys are gonna get bit every time they go, and then you're gonna get workers' comp suits. That's one thing that's gonna happen.
I was here when we agreed to do this.
2017 or something,
Correct.
wasn't it?
Correct. And there was no talk of a 2.1 mile trail. This whole idea was sold to the board at the time, is that it would be a passive recreation park, and all that would be required was some gravel put down in certain areas for parking, and there would be benches put in. That's how it was sold to us. There was never, not that I recall, there was no mention of a 2.1 mile trail.
Yeah.
The
Because
original-
my concern was, yeah, you like open
That one
space,
right
but
there.
what's our requirement to maintain? And there's no funding for this,
That's right.
so the town was gonna get stuck holding, the bucket again. And it was, no, this is passive, we can just put some gravel down and a couple benches, that's what we're looking to do, and it's, the property's been rescued, and, okay, that's great, that sounded good, let's vote for it. And now I'm hearing about a 2.1 mile trail.
But it's not anymore, it's back down to a quarter of a mile.
Correct.
Yeah, there it is, that's the conceptual plan that we
Can I have that
received.
map?
Oh, I didn't give you both?
Yeah.
Okay.
And get Devin a copy when she comes back to put online, please.
I thought I gave you both.
I got two of these, that's what,
Oh, two of the same.
it's okay. Okay.
Okay, so one option I know everyone's thinking of or going to ask is spraying. And we actually spoke with Island Exterminating, and they told us to spray it would be an enormous waste of money. Because if you just spray the trail itself, it'll keep the ticks off until the next rain, and then then people will be susceptible again. The other thing is, if you do spray the trail, who's to say that someone doesn't have an allergy to it? Or an animal that's going on the trail, same thing. So, again, we did speak with the experts on this, and their response was that it would be a waste of money. So, this is where we are right now.
So, to be clear, the quote, trail and the improvements have really been
Curb cut.
significantly reduced from the original plan. Councilman Bayrod and myself,
Devin, this has to go up.
yeah, I have a copy for her.
Okay.
Councilman Bayrod and I have met with Open Space, spoke to Open Space. We, via email chain, unbeknownst to the board and unbeknownst to Dawn, less than a week ago, have communicated with each other and agreed to sit down and try to come up with a plan that made sense and minimized exposure to ticks. Drew is very correct, and Councilman will correct me if I misspeak. The Open Space Committee did not advocate for and had an opinion that a 3-foot wide trail is, of course, you're going to be exposed to ticks. It's not wide enough. And so last meeting that we had with them, they talked about it. It has to be a wider trail. We won't make it as long. You know,
I think we said 5 feet,
correct.
minimum 5 feet?
Correct.
Yeah.
If you go to EPCAL and you walk EPCAL, that trail is how wide?
It's 10 feet and it's paved.
Correct.
Right.
So while we would like an opportunity, since Open Space was the one who advocated for the monies for these improvements and originally worked with engineering, I believe Drew has legitimate concerns, but I believe we can come up with a plan that provides the passive recreation and beautifies the area, which it deserves. I think we just need a little more time.
Yeah.
One
So,
thing-
just, if I could just interject, we've been talking about this for a little bit in open space. Our last meeting we missed for scheduling reasons, but the committee is, very engaged in the process and very interested in making it work so that it's safe for everybody. But one of the things, and Anne Marie and I talk about it to you guys all the time, is when we get into these intermunicipal agreements, the maintenance, and you just alluded to it before, gets overlooked. So we have this, they buy the property and then we maintain it. And so we were in the process of getting in touch with Assemblywoman Giglio at the state level and trying to work out something where we could get some legislation that would provide for continued maintenance. And we're gonna continue to follow up on it, but we're just catching everybody up to speed.
So if the town board recalls, back in April, Councilman Bayrod and I rolled that out. And in part, Drew, we did it because of conversations with you regarding the expense of maintenance. And the town board gave me permission, and I sent it up to Assemblywoman Giglio on April 28th of 2022, requested amended state legislation to allow us to utilize a portion of the park and recreation fees for maintenance of our parks. It's all well and good that we can use park and rec fees to create parks, but then we don't have the money to maintain them. We don't have enough staff to maintain them. So we did that.
Equipment and supplies also.
Right, so the town did everything we talked about, and we sent it up to the Assemblywoman. We also included that perhaps park and recreation fees should be included for large-scale industrial projects or industrial subdivisions. Why? The reason why, when large-scale industry comes here, all those employees, when they look at lunch to take a break, or they're utilizing our parks. It's a benefit to them.
So there is a distinction too, and I think the Open Space Committee sometimes, really focuses on this. There is a distinction between parkland and open space, and what the Open Space Committee really wants is to preserve the property in perpetuity so that it can never be developed and that it can remain in its natural state, which is, they do a great job at that. And sometimes when you get into these trails and these other things, it becomes, it morphs into something bigger than it was really intended. I think is that the sentiment of our Open Space Committee, I would
Yes,
say? Yeah.
Yes.
We're gonna be
So-
out there monthly.
Yeah.
Just to maintain that 5-foot trail, we're gonna have to hire somebody else and a new piece of equipment and get out there monthly.
Yeah.
If we don't, it'll just close in.
I think I'm really confident. If we can work with Open Space, Councilman Bayrod and I continue and work with Drew, I think we could come up with a plan, not far from now, that maybe Drew will sign on to, but I think Open Space will. And they really have a keen interest in it, and I know the community does.
Yes.
It's just important, it's unfortunate, the tick infestation, but quite honestly, if you go to EPCAL, you're gonna have ticks. I've been on that 10-foot wide trail with a pink baseball cap and with a friend, and she's pointing, and I'm looking at, and I'm like, ooh, I got ticks sitting. We have ticks on Long Island. It's a fact of life. No matter what park you go to, county, town, state, if it's natural, you're gonna have ticks.
Drew, what about, instead of like, you're talking about mowing grass monthly, things like that, can you cultivate it? Can you put, mulch down instead, like a heavy abundant of mulch and make it a 10-foot wide trail and it's less continuous maintenance? I mean,
Yeah, the county will never agree to a 10-foot wide trail. Never.
Why?
Because they want it to be very small and inconspicuous. That's why they wanted a 3-foot trail.
And at the end of the day, it's their property.
And I'm not even sure that they'll agree with a 5-foot trail.
Well, I think we can come up with a plan that'll work. I mean, I also have some ideas. We successfully used pavers down at Jamesport. We need time to iron it out.
The one thing we have going for us is that we're working with legislator Krupski, who's
Yes,
excellent.
he's been
He's
great.
really on board, and he's very easy to work with and very helpful when we need something, so.
Just seems like you know, when you're doing the brush and stuff like that, we've probably got piles of mulch, and if it's clean and you can put it down, then you don't have to mow, you don't have to maintain it, you put
Right.
it down 6 inches
The
thick,
only
it
thing, you
stops the
still get
weeds.
all the foliage closing in from the sides and from the top that you gotta trim.
Yeah, you have to remember, it's natural
It'll be our winter trail.
Although,
What's that?
It'll be a winter trail.
although Councilman Bayrod will confirm, the former highway superintendent did a lot of improvements to the Sound Avenue Preserve, and he cut the path, and he laid down the mulch. And you and I have been up there a couple times in the past 2-3 months.
Right.
Those trails are wide and stayed wide, am I right?
Yeah, I think this is overgrown more so than that area, but yeah, you're right, that,
Loaded with poison ivy, isn't it?
Did you hear what he said? It's loaded with poison ivy.
Loaded with poison
It is
ivy.
not.
I know,
You
because
and I
put
walked
it
it.
in.
listen,
Sensing a lot of negativity.
Oh,
It's just experience.
it's not
Unfortunately,
loaded with
bad.
poison ivy, am I right?
I'm allergic to it, so I would have gotten it for sure. Anyway, we're working on it, that's all we really wanted to let you guys know, and we're gonna
Thank you.
continue to work on it, and,
Right.
and we're gonna make sure it's safe and that it's habitable,
Yeah.
and that the county allows us to do what's necessary to get it done, yep.
Do you have grandchildren? Yeah.
No.
Oh.
not yet.
Let's not go there.
Supervisor,
I
you
know,
read him,
Jim.
stop bringing children
Supervisor,
to your credit,
Tim,
you read him fast.
You, me, and all your grandkids can go for a walk, right?
Listen, I walk outside my house and I'm covered with ticks, so, I mean, it's Long
Well,
Island.
that you can help.
It's not New York City. I'm out here for a reason. I can deal with ticks.
All right, we will continue the
Great.
fight. Thank you, guys.
All right,
Yes, thank you. And happy Father's Day, Joe.
thank you very much.
All right, next for our
Hey, Drew.
discussion, we have Ray Coyne, our Recreation Director. He's here to update us on a very, very exciting topic concerning a public-private partnership with the Peconic Hockey to bring a domed hockey rink here in Riverhead.
Yes.
Specifically to Stotsky Park. Ray, I know you have representatives from the...
Yeah, these are representatives from Peconic Hockey. That's Troy, the president, here's Chris, and
Yes.
Steve is the attorney.
And I know you guys, I think you working on, in Southampton.
Thanks.
On a rink.
What?
Are you
Everybody
related
has
to
one of
the...
these?
No,
Okay.
we're using that as a sort of a template.
Okay, that's where they came
Yeah,
in.
that's where.
So this is an exciting thing.
Listen,
We don't have a hockey rink out here in Riverhead, and
Thank you, sir.
I know it's growing sports, and we look forward to your presentation here today.
timing couldn't be any better for
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
could it, with the Stanley Cup tonight starting, you know?
Sometime-
And the Rangers having a big run.
And the
As long as the Rangers are
yeah,
out.
The excitement of the
Take it easy.
Rangers and
Take it easy over there.
And Ray, I know you've been working on this for the last
Every
year.
54 years, the Rangers wins the cup. Give me a break.
He's got it right. Yeah, we've been working with Peconic Hockey for a few years now, and now since this idea came to some fruition, now we're working on a weekly basis through Zoom, and we're here pretty much to the next step that we want to take, and we wanted to provide the town board with an update. I admire what they've done on the East End. There's no hockey out on the East End. They're all volunteers. This is a not-for-profit. It's not, a profit-making entity. So they work really hard. They have a lot of backers, including the owner of the New York Islanders behind them, and done a tremendous job. So we're happy to be. We're happy that we were selected by Peconic Hockey as the land for the hockey rink, and I want to push it over to Troy he can kind of update everybody on what
Troy.
Peconic Hockey is and the presentation here.
Joy, I just have a quick question. You mentioned, Ray, that you're a not-for-profit.
Yes,
What designation do you have? Which one?
501c3.
You do have 503, so this is very interesting. Good. We look forward to it. Go ahead.
Well, thank you, Madam Supervisor and Councilman, for being here and for your time. So just to give everyone a little background, yes, I am a resident, parent, and I'm also a coach for hockey. Going back about to 2014, I started volunteering and I was teaching street hockey and what we call now floorball in the schools to all the kids. And I was noticing that throughout the schools that these kids, everyone is still wearing Islanders and Ranger shirts, and I was like shocked at how many kids out here actually still wear, it's because the parents from the 80s watching the, the Islanders and whatnot. So I said, this is great. I said, we should go skating and we should do a hockey team. And then all the parents would tell me like, yeah, okay, that's great, Troy, but there's no ice for like 50 miles out here. And I'm like, that's when I got to realize that the only hockey rink, and actually I have a diagram here, that, pull this up for you, that the only hockey rink, there's a 76-mile gap with no rinks. Now, these are all rinks here, of course, in Connecticut here, and this is Riverhead. In Southampton, they have a third-size hockey rink, and out in East Hampton, we have an uncovered ice rink, okay? So, as I was talking to everyone, I said, well, let's start a team. And immediately, 21 residents all said, all right, we'll play for you. And we started skating at Kings Park, which is an hour drive, of course, to get
My
to
hometown.
the closest rink. Okay. So, as we started, I realized that there's such an opportunity out here for the local residents. So we started our 501c3. And through that, we started a bunch of programs. We were recycling the game, where everyone was donating their equipment that they weren't using, and we were giving it to the kids. And we were saying that if the families belong to our Peconic, for us, it wasn't about entitlement. So if you are a child, a family member, you have to volunteer to the community and do things for the community. And that was a huge part of our program. Then we started raising more money, so we started doing scholarships, and we've given over $50,000 in scholarships to the east end of Long Island for kids to play hockey. And then we started donating ice at all of the local rinks, and we've donated hundreds of hours of ice of growing the game, learn to skate, programs, and we were bringing a lot of the pros of, Matt Martin and a lot of the Islanders and Rangers would come and skate with the kids, and so we did this whole thing of trying to grow the game, and that was our big thing, help the community, be a part of the community. And as we grew and we started raising more and more money, we said, there's such a need for hockey out here. What can we do about this? So the first thing is we started buying floorball sticks, and the floorball sticks, we spent almost $30,000, and we've been donating them to all the schools on the East End. So Riverhead has a set, and these guys have been amazing working with the kids and with our volunteers, and we've done a lot of floorball programs for the schools out here, which has been fabulous. As we went on, we were realizing that, wow, there's a whole bigger picture here. Now we're starting, and now we've got travel teams, and we have 7 travel teams now. We've got rec leagues, and the problem is there's no place for these kids to skate. At Southampton, it's a great little rink, but once you hit the age of 12, it's not a big enough rink to actually have a real hockey game, 5 versus 5. So,
That's only open a few months in the winter time. It's just
correct.
nice.
So the problem is there is no covered ice on Long Island. Everyone has tried from Greenport to Scottsky Park and on the East End, and it's a real issue because of rain, and it doesn't get cold enough out here. So we started actually looking at a dome. So our foundation actually recently acquired a dome, and we've got parents, of course, from all the different teams that are begging and fighting for us, saying, no, let's put this in Greenport, let's put this in East Hampton, let's go to Southampton. But this is our home, this is where we're residents, and we would love nothing more than to see a hockey rink in the town of Riverhead. Why? Because Riverhead has everything from restaurants and hotels and tourism, where there's that 70-some mile gap, and this could be the future home of East End hockey, because people will be coming off the ferry for tournaments and travel teams, and everyone here knows how it works with all sports, right? You're everywhere, and this would be something that would be great for all the kids, and you know, when you see these hockey rinks, it's not just about kids skating, it's not figure skating. They do everything, every kind of program from, whether it's Boy Scouts, senior citizens, Learn to Skate program, it touches everyone. Firemen versus the policemen and charity volunteer games, so it truly affects everyone. And I feel like I'm just rattling on this every time you guys want to hop in here. But anyways, so through this whole process, and like I said, thanks to the guys here, they've been such a huge help to us. We've had architects and our attorneys, and all of our entire board is all volunteers. There's nobody paid at Peconic Hockey. And through the last 7 years, we finally narrowed it down now, where we were actually looking at Stotsky Park, because one, we did the soil testing, we did the survey, we did the architectural drawings, and everything is there at an underutilized soccer field. There's already another soccer field there that's already set, but there's a location that has the parking, the lighting, the sewer, the electrical hookup, and I think long-term, you know, I don't know how much detail I want to get in here, but long-term is, I think our goal is to donate the dome to the town in hopes of placing it there and coming to some agreement down the road. And that's kind of where we're at. That's what we are, and, you know, so,
Ray,
sorry
I
if I
just
jumped
want to
ahead a
add,
lot and whatnot.
that location, that's underutilized, that particular
Yeah,
field, correct?
Originally, we looked at
I've never
Veterans
seen it
Park.
used.
Originally, we looked at Veterans Park, but there was just too many obstacles for Veterans Park, so we really said Stotsky. And to tell you the truth, the south field at Stotsky Park, in the 16 years I've been here, we've never run a league. It's hardly used, if at all. It's just in bad shape, so that's why we had to build the north field, resurface it, put new turf in. I think somebody did that turf for us. And that's where all the kids play, that's where all the play is. So our team here has been looking to reimagine Stotsky Park in so many different ways. And we have like a 10 and 15-year plan for the park, and this is perfect for it. It would be in a perfect location that Troy said. It's right, the parking lot is right there. And then we pretty much hit everything, you know, at one park. You know, because there's a lot of hockey players. Our hockey rink now is being used a lot. The kids are always asking for it. And also, too, since I've been here, and I know Tim's been involved, we've been looking for an ice hockey rink for 15 years now. The town, the recreation department put down a rink that was just water and ice with PVC pipes. It was only good for 2 weeks, if we got those 2 weeks out of the year, but it was crowded. So many people came to skate on it. And we've been asked for so many years, you gotta get a rink out here, you gotta have a rink out here. So this is kind of a blessing for us to have them out here.
This is a all-year rink?
This would be capable of being year-round. By the way, I'm Chris Kieber, I'm a board member of
Right.
Peconic Hockey, but my favorite title is Hockey Dad. If I can just explain the state of play from our perspective, it might be useful. As Troy said, you know, the market condition is kind of crazy when you think this is it's been an NHL market for, 50 plus years, and you've got a ton of, not just NHL support, obviously, but, the kids love to play. And so we've been, towns have called us, and said, would you, sort of be a part of this? But I just want to reinforce what Troy said. Riverhead's perfect. It just checks all the boxes. Biggest demographic population on the east end, the most kids, right? Where you want to put something where it's going to be used, right? Confluence of the two forks, terminus of the LIE, all the infrastructure that sets up for tournaments and camps, and there's just no other place like it. And so we're only having this conversation with Riverhead, and we don't have a great plan B, by the way. So the state of play, Troy and the organization have done an amazing job of fundraising over the years. We were able to do two things. We had a wealthy donor basically give us a smaller rink, about the size of Southampton's. It happened to be on their property, and the kids had grown up, and they didn't want it anymore. We brought in tractor trailers and a crane truck and took it out, sitting in our warehouse here in Riverhead. But then we got a tip that the town of Cranston, Rhode Island, which has its own year-round rink, put up a bubble dome with a second rink to sort of test demand. Demand for them was off the charts, and so they established demand. They said, great, we're going to sell the bubble dome and the rink, and we're going to build a permanent second rink. And so that's how we got on board. We called them, they were so kind to us, and they said, we totally get it. We want you guys to get this if you can, the bid's at this date and so forth. So we put in a bid, and we were lucky enough to win. Big purchase, for us, kind of a big, move for us. But what we did in that was we sort of broke the conundrum, because it's been difficult to figure out, well, do you start raising money first? Do you get the land first? But we sort of broke it by getting the equipment, and so we come to you and say, now we have the equipment, and now, that's made the conversation with Parks and Rec, real and actionable and sort of, and with a deadline. So if we could just talk about timing for a moment. So we're under a bit of strain because we bought the rink in late April. The town.
Depth of timeline is on the last page.
Yeah, we exclude the
Oh, okay.
timeline portion of it, because that was
Okay.
Yeah,
beforehand.
that's a few
We're a little
months
bit
old.
behind that
Councilman,
timeline,
Okay, I'm
yeah.
sorry.
But just to,
When I see
sort of where we are today, the town of Cranston has said, it's great, it's yours, please come, pick it up. Which is great, and we're ready to do that. We've got the crew, ready to deflate the bubble and roll it up, and it's a big operation. It's like a, traveling circus or something to move this thing, and it's very expensive. So, we really can only move this once, right? To move it again, just to put a dollar figure on it, it's about $200,000 to just move it, which is obviously a big haul for a charitable organization. So, what we need at the moment from the town, our petition is to have a place just to store the stuff after we pick it up. And just to sort of flag, perhaps the non-sequential movement, we're asking the town to allow us to store the gear on its property while we sort out an agreement between the charity and the town.
Yeah, we're at the state, we're at the place where, like Chris said, we're here, and what we're looking for is to see if the town board has the interest. And if the town board has the interest, then we'll move forward. Tim has been in some meetings with us, and we brought in Eric, the town attorney, in with us. But we didn't want to move anywhere until the town board said, yes, we are interested, and we could move forward with it. Doesn't guarantee it's going to happen, but at least it gets us to the next step. And I don't want to go to the next step with them if the town board has reservations. So that's where we're at right now.
So I'll say I have my entire life played ice hockey, and so I know what it's like. My practices were at Superior Ice Rink at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then try to get back to school at 7:30 and going to Dix Hills and so forth. So I think it'd be awesome to have something out here in East End. I don't think you need a plan B. I just think that why can't we push ahead and forge more quickly on getting the town, a contract in place, so that it's that you're not here to store your rink, you're here to install it and build it. And so I would say that, how quickly can we spend the next few days why can't we hammer out a contract and just get it done?
Can we
Well,
add to that?
This is
We should talk
something
about
that,
SYS.
that I know it's been in the works for over a year, and I know I've met with you guys, and I was briefed yesterday, and I was wondering where you guys went after a while, and I'm glad that you resurfaced, and I agree with Councilman Bockwell. This is just a matter of legal. We have to check with our legal department, and Tim, you said you've been in touch with Eric?
Ray has.
Oh, Ray
Yeah,
has.
Tim has come to a few meetings with Eric, and Eric advised us,
Okay.
to get them to even move the stuff, we would need a license agreement.
Right, there's a
between the
process
towns.
that has to
Right,
go
so
through.
let's just do go forward with the legal component of it. Who's representing you?
Stephen
Okay,
Kyler.
so you're here, will you
Yes.
reach out to our town attorney?
Absolutely.
Eric Howard, And I know you agree now.
Well, no, yeah,
but
I'm
we should-
just thinking, I think there are initial concerns about, bringing it in, placing it here, and are we a holding center? Is the rink going someplace else? Is it making its way out to Southold? Is it going to Southampton? I would advocate, I want it here. I want it here in our town. I want to utilize it here. It's beneficial to all. So I just think that was the concern about simply bringing it here to store it.
We could
But I think-
simultaneously work on because you have to do three things, right? You need a license agreement temporarily to store it. Concurrently with that, we would have to work on a long-term land lease agreement and then also a management agreement. So those are the three.
And you guys are gonna manage it, correct?
We are.
There's no cost to the
Yes,
town?
no cost. It's set it and forget it. They're bringing in a fully operational ice rink, plopping it on your property, ready to go. But we're gonna want a long-term commitment from the town. So like similar, and we have a template.
Is Eric here? Can we see if we can get him real quick?
I believe he's in court, supervisor.
Okay, so.
But we already have a template that we can model after, and that's
Okay.
SYS in Southampton. So in Southampton, they had a former landfill. It was no longer being used. So the town was like, this is a perfect location for a youth center. They found a third party to operate and manage it. So the town gave them the land through a long-term land lease, 100 years, and said, all right, we're going to simultaneously do a management agreement
Right.
for 100 years to operate that. So it's, and again, that's all negotiable, the terms and whatever, but we do have a ready-to-go template to go forward.
So, Ray, if you, well, you guys have to speak to
The main
Eric, just so,
objective, Supervisor, is to, what the benefit to the residents are. And that's what we're here to negotiate. What can we provide to the residents on this rink? And I think we're gonna go back and forth a little bit, because obviously we wanna make sure the town is taken care of, the residents of the town are taken care of, with its free skate lessons or, anything of that nature. So that's kind of where we're gonna go on our end, and.
Ray, what would the additional burden to your department be to manage and run?
We're hoping not much
advertise?
at all. I think the only thing we can think of down the road is the infrastructure, that parking lot. At some point, we really would like to make it into a nice paved with drainage parking lot.
Would you fence the whole area off or no?
I would probably say yes. Here, I have the location it's gonna go. It's gonna go.
I
on
know the location.
Oh,
I'm
the
familiar
Southfield,
with
yep.
that,
So, yeah, fence it off. We are hoping even we can get grants to help us out with the infrastructure and the lighting over there. And like I said, it's all part of our new conceptual thinking of Stotsky Park. We have plans down the road. We really want to make it the Mecca Park for everybody to come to. It's a beautiful park now. We want to even take it to the next level.
It's so centrally located. I probably told you a million times that I looked into this in a private enterprise about
Yep.
15 years ago. But this is really the way to do it well and to do it successfully, is to be partnered with the town or the municipality. Any of the successful ones on Long Island are always partnered with the municipality. And I think Riverhead is the perfect central spot for this. So I give you my blessings, and I think storage is an easy lift
yeah.
to find a place to store, temporarily.
We identified the armory, which is only 100 yards from the actual location. We mapped it out.
Would actually be using it for something?
Just the back of the armory.
Temporarily.
Put a cover over it.
Let the
just
judges hear you say that.
We also got to ensure that we engage the Riverhead School District. This will be great to add to their sports program. And colleges across the United States, they offer scholarships for hockey. So this could be the beginning of
Certainly an
something great.
under served
Yeah.
area of the East End, and this has been a long time coming.
Councilman
Yeah, you
Renfro always
putting in
said
the
you do lessons already, right? You do lessons for these?
Well, he's going to play.
Yeah.
We want to see he said he played. We want to see him come
Still
to
play.
action.
Is the rink you're putting in this bubble, is it the third size rink you got, or is it gonna be a larger more?
No, it's a full NHL sheet.
Good.
So you know, it's not the most glamorous thing in the world. It's a big white bubble. You've seen these things around. I just wanted to comment on the SYS relationship. It's a great template, we think, for us. It's instead of reinventing the wheel, that's a partnership that's been in place between a nonprofit and a town for over 20 years, and the thing has grown, you know, kind of exponentially. And so we think there's some really good logic, you know, that you know, our two groups can sort of, you know, draft off of. What we haven't said is our ambition is to have kids skating this fall. That would be our hope and intention. And so we're ready to move forward as fast as this partnership can move forward. It's been a long time, you know, since, you know.
Will it need
2014.
any grading or base or anything like that to be installed?
There is some site preparation that's
Right, I would
required.
think
There's
so, yeah.
a 1 foot concrete ribbon that needs to go around the perimeter to which the bubble gets anchored so it doesn't
Good.
lift off.
Fly away?
Yeah.
That was my thought, if you just filled it up with hot air, you could fly it over from Connecticut.
Exactly. Maybe we
Save
should.
a lot of
We'll
money.
send the town board over, there's plenty of that.
Ken obviously grew up wealthier than I did, because he had 6 o'clock ice time in the morning. When we got a group of people together out here, we had to
Midnight.
trek up west. No, 1 o'clock in the morning was our ice time.
And you happily
And
did.
a group of us had to, you know, shell out the jing for it, and we were still scraping pennies together to make it happen. There's been, and this is back in the 70s when I was a teenager, there's been a need for a long time out here for hockey. And I ran the Police Athletic League here for almost 30 years, and every year it came up, you know, when are we going to do hockey? How are we going to do hockey? I have to take my kids, we're going west all the time, it's crazy, blah, blah, blah. But it was never money, there was never, you know, you guys weren't around back then, and there was never the source that we could bring something local. And I couldn't agree with you more that Riverhead is the perfect location between both east ends, both forks, that there's so many people, and they make the trip from East Hampton, they're going up to Kings Park and back and forth just to play.
And it'd be an amazing benefit for your restaurants, for potentially hotels, for all your local businesses. Big boom for that. So, but what I want to try to talk about as well, because we spoke about the benefits of the kids, right? To have leagues and whatever. But there are other benefits to town residents generally, right, Troy, that you're contemplating offering?
Well, absolutely. Like I was saying, you know, right now, I mean, in the last 8 years, we've donated so much money to local groups for all the other rinks, Dix Hills, Bethpage, wherever it is, from sled hockey, you know, to handicap hockey, to, I mean, every group you can imagine, we do it for. And we want to bring that out here.
Yeah, so like residents would be able to utilize the ice independent of being in a league and things like that? Okay.
Yeah, we've talked,
Absolutely.
and we have
Yes.
like our plans, like to do open skate, ice skating lessons, private rentals, birthday parties. You brought up like the local teams, practices, stuff like that, stuff that everybody in the community,
See, one thing you have,
take part in.
one thing you have to understand is, like I said, we have rec teams, we have 7 travel teams already, that once we open up the gates for this, it's gonna pop, because we got kids from Montauk last year that were on the team, coming all the way in. So, you've got both forks right now, with no
Right.
full-size covered ice.
And is it
It's
fair
gonna
to say
boom.
that you may actually have the same problem that Cranston, Rhode Island had at one point and be looking to
Yeah.
morph into something
I'm
like
glad you
this?
brought it up, Councilman. I think it's worth talking about. We see this bubble as kind of a
Means to
temporary.
an end,
Yeah,
yeah.
a temporary matter. We had to, I don't know if it makes sense when I say that, you had to break the conundrum somehow, but you have to get going somehow, and people lose steam. You know, there were groups that worked for years to try to get these things going, and they ran out of steam. So this is our way to basically get a chip on the board, to just get moving, right? But our ambition to share it is that the public-private partnership develops the same way it did in Southampton, and after a while, new things get built, you know, within the partnership. So our ambition is to create the partnership. We brought the gear, let us operate it for a couple of years, right? Then we pick our heads up, look at the relationship and say, how's it going? You know, what's going right, what's going wrong, what's the demand like? What's
Well,
the
since we
reception
don't
for the
have
community?
the town attorney here, can we get the deputy town attorney so we can add to this to see if we can move
Oh, I
this
thought she was here.
from the legal perspective and address it now?
Yeah, and I just wanted to, in the interim, throw out there, my barber plays hockey. And she's a Riverhead, she's a Riverhead resident, so she's in a
my
female
barber,
league.
too.
And she loves hockey, obsessed with it. So she did an online petition to see if there was interest for a hockey rink in Riverhead.
Anne Marie, I'm sorry, I know you heard most of the discussion, so I wanted you to be part of it while they're here. Thank you.
So just as a litmus test, I think she got a couple thousand in like a week or two of local Riverhead residents that would say this would be an amazing opportunity. And, you know, so it's not just, again, coaches, dads, or let's get this done, or players. It's a broad swath of the community.
You know, if you look at the Southampton rink is a seasonal rink. It opens around Halloween, it closes kind of mid-March. It's a private, profit-making venture, okay, and it's a third of a sheet, you know, it's not even a full sheet. It is mobbed. It is mobbed. You cannot believe the demand for this use. I mean, I would put it against any sport, you know, in any part of the country. There is not more dedication, and Councilman, you're.
Except lacrosse.
I agree.
But your feeling about, you know, 1 a.m. scraping together nickels to get on the ice, that has not changed. You know, a lot of things have changed since the 70s, and that is not one of them.
Right.
That is exactly the same way it is now. Now it's become the meeting place for tweens and teens. You know, it's something to do on Friday night. They come out for the open skate, and the, you know, kids are mingling, and it's an amazing kind of community, you know, center. If there's an opportunity, you know, hopefully this will be done by the fall. But if you've ever been to Southampton, the demand factor is not to be believed.
I can tell you that it opened up as just like a public skating rink. So myself being in the fire department there, we started the fire department ice hockey team. We did the first year they were open, we did a tournament, and, you know, we just did against the village town police. And right away, it was like, once we started that, everybody else was like, you know, then we did the following year, we let the kids come in and play a game like beforehand, and it small amount of cultivates right into, like, you know, now it was like nobody can get time, and you know, ourselves, that where we felt like we started it, and that was like, there's no time to practice, there's no availability anywhere.
Right.
It was like, that's why we are a very weak team, because we can't practice.
That's the only reason.
But it's full, that's it, it's nothing to do with age.
But like you said, with lacrosse, soccer, lacrosse, field hockey, these all tie in. You would have kids that play those sports, play hockey because it feeds off of the other type of sports with the goalie scenario and moving the ball or a puck up and down. It's very similar, and you'll see most of those kids will play those sports together. And
Yeah, and
lacrosse
your
has become
park-
huge out here, so.
In your park at Stotsky too, you already have a full-size, you know, roller hockey park, which is great, you know, dry land training for the kids. So now you'll have real ice, you've got dry land training. It can become, you know, so I mentioned before, we have a junior rink also. It doesn't have a cover, but we basically have 2 sheets right now. So the more ambitious contemplation is, you know, to have the full-size sheet, our junior sheet, and your, you know, kind of, you know, dry land sheet, if you will. And you really start to create a complex, you know, out there. And again, I want to go back, because our ultimate ambition at Peconic Hockey is to have a full-time, you know, public-private partnership with a permanent facility that houses several sheets of ice, you know, for
What's the size of this one that's coming in? So is this just for the one size rink? Is there room for spectators, bleachers around the edge, or what's?
Thin amount of bleachers, locker rooms, referee room, et cetera, are kind of built in. If you've ever been to Freeport's a pretty good comp for what this is gonna look
Used to be
like.
Chartier's place, right?
What's that?
Didn't Brian Chartier own the Freeport for years?
I'm not sure if you know.
I date myself.
No, but if you look at a great sort of analog to what we would be talking about in a permanent facility would be the rinks or Dix Hill. Those are great examples. They both sit in public parks, right? They're permanent facilities. They're absolutely mobbed, and they're probably the best. The rinks is definitely the best community resource in the town of Hopog. No question.
Great Neck has Parkwood, and that's where I grew up skating a lot.
Okay,
And
gotcha.
let me tell you, that was the center of the universe when
Right.
when it got to hockey season, no doubt about it.
Yeah, so our feeling is, let's do this. We've sort of broken the conundrum. We've got the gear. Let's operate it for a couple of years, see how the relationship's going, right? Have we managed it well? Have we operated it well? Are the residents getting enough benefit, right? If things are going as well as we hope we are, well, we'd like to come back to the table and say, okay, we've established the demand, we've established, responsible operation, let's sort of move to the next step and to consider together, a permanent facility with multiple sheets. Multiple sheets, by the way, is really important. Economies of scale in hockey are very important. And so, why? Because with multiple sheets, you can run real tournaments. With multiple sheets, you can run real camps, for the kids. And those are the big money makers that the town of Riverhead wants to fill, hotel rooms and restaurant seats in the downtown area, et cetera. So that's the big vision. I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole at the moment.
The
But
Germain Center, it's renamed now down in Fort Myers, is exactly that. It has 3 conjoined rings, and it is humongous. And you can have figure skating, you can have hockey, you can have all-day skate. I mean, it's just such a great facility for,
Right.
ice fanatics.
So this would just be a stepping stone. So I don't know if you had any question. Well, we could
Yeah, so
really
we
do-
have
Well,
we have the town attorney here, and, we're talking about private property, town property,
Yeah.
and she is the
So
guru
this
on,
property is impressed with the public trust. This is parkland. In order to move forward in any way with Peconicocky, we would have to have a private partnership agreement. And that agreement must deliver unequivocally a benefit to our residents and children that they don't already have. And it has to be structured in such a way that it's clear whether it's a no-fee use, whether it's a recreation program, and we really need that first. And there's no reason, this has been planned for a couple of years. There's no reason that shouldn't be put together immediately for the town board to consider and move forward. The law, the Attorney General, the Comptroller, they're going to look at these agreements. Suffolk County did a similar public-private partnership, and it's very specific, what must be delivered to the benefit in order to use our property with a public trust protecting that property. And really, first and foremost, that's why when we talk about storage, I don't know when I stepped out if that changed, to Councilman Rothwell's credit and the supervisors, that's why we need that agreement in place. We don't, quote, allow public park property to be used for storage. If we have the agreement in place and we structure it, yeah, then you can store and put it together. But we've addressed this numerous times before, numerous other entities, Supervisor, you'll recall, after race,
It
not
wouldn't-
street, whatever, they wanted to store bleachers. And we said, no, you cannot utilize park property for storage of your equipment.
But it wouldn't be storage, if we get an agreement right away, it wouldn't be storage, it'd be under
Correct.
construction.
Correct. That's what I'm
we're aiming
saying.
for,
Let's,
so we're
you know,
ready.
this has been in the works for years. I've known about it for years. I've heard about it. There's no reason an agreement shouldn't be put together, in place, reviewed, approved by the town board before you take a next step. I mean, it shouldn't be difficult.
All right, my question to you is that they're on a deadline to move this bubble by the end of the month. What's our first step to get that part?
The
What
agreement.
can we do now?
The
Do
agreement,
agreement?
the agreement.
Yeah, we
So
gotta iron out
it's
the,
simple,
we gotta iron out
and
the
you
community
created these
benefit.
types of agreements before, probably with almost every municipality, because you've gone into public-private partnership, right, correct?
Well, no, this would be the first for this.
Oh, this would be the first?
This is the first.
Okay, so we need to make sure that that agreement is in
I'll
place.
work offline with the town attorney's office and we'll make sure we get an agreement that will satiate their concerns and also provide a clear community benefit.
Yeah, and you know what, you can send the prospective draft to the board members, and we can do it
Correct.
through email, right?
So this
You could
is
just-
the same
You could
issue.
probably get a copy of what Dix Hills did for that,
That's it.
that's
This
a
is the
perfect
same
example
issue
where they built
regarding
ice hockey.
storage that arose a year ago. And a year ago, when it came up, and I've emailed the entire town board on it, cautioning not to use park property for storage without an agreement. Back then, almost exactly a year ago, in order to assist, I worked with the Water District Superintendent, and we located an area, unused Water District property, that we would do a short-term license agreement for the storage. I repeat, we've now worked together again, Frank and I. We think we could temporarily store you for a fee at Plan 12 if it's that imminent.
We can't put it there. It's cost them so much money to move it. We want to move it
How
to
much?
where the armor, 300,000 to move it.
Well, they're moved,
200,000
they're moved in containers, correct?
No, they're moved on tractor trailers and pallets,
Okay.
yeah. And there's a compressor, the magic device, which keeps ice, that sits on the trailer.
I'm confident we can get an agreement though, because it seems the will of the board is to go forward on this, so it's just our coming up with, again, language that addresses your concerns about the parkland, and, and SYS is a template, but the property, like I said, was landfill, so it wasn't a park, so I know that this adds the extra wrinkle, because it's parkland and there's, higher burdens you gotta meet to use it.
Sure.
But I'll work with the town attorney's office and.
Even look at the town of Huntington, what they did in Dix Hills, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
We're also, the
And-
reason we're looking at the SYS is because it is a dome.
No.
It's a soccer
That's what
dome,
they
that's what
want
they use it for.
So
So we want to
would
kind
that
of
have
match
to-
that.
To me, there's no reason, this has been going on for years, there's
Yeah.
no reason an agreement can't be put in
Right.
place.
Yeah, just for the storage portion, it's not a part of
Yeah.
it.
No, the overall.
My
the overall
point
agreement.
is-
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole
We
thing.
gotta show the benefit to the
Yeah.
town for the
Yeah.
agreement to
You
take
gotta
place.
No,
commit.
that makes sense.
But is the Armory parking lot part of the Riverhead Park, technically?
No.
No.
No,
It
That's where
borders
we
it.
were intended on.
We were intended on putting it there, so is that a lower burden perhaps for the short-term?
potentially, but for me, just knowing it's gone on for years, it doesn't make sense why we can't put an agreement in place. It-
Absolutely.
You know,
We have to put an agreement.
We're all for it, yeah. We're
We're
just,
ready to schedule the ribbon cutting, sir.
Yes,
I
let's
know,
go.
you know,
And he's gonna be on, you have to be on the ice on
I will.
skates. You promise?
Would it
Okay,
not
I'm
make
gonna take you up.
sense if we get this agreement to put it on site rather than put it at the Armory and
Oh, yeah.
then move it
Oh,
again
yeah.
to
Yeah,
on site?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would obviate.
That
the-
would
that's
make all the sense
exactly
in
my
the world to
point.
me,
benefit, so
right?
get
Get
the
this
agreement
done.
Right.
Yeah, that's fine, as long as I know we're moving forward, we can put it on site, because it'll be an eyesore for them in the beginning, but if we know we're telling them down, a couple of months down the road now, we're in.
But you're
It's
saying there's gonna
reality.
be site work that's necessary, so I don't know where you're gonna put it on site. If
Yeah.
you're
well,
gonna
there's
get site work
there's the
done.
parking lot, the only obvious place seems to be the parking lot off the south field, right? I'm a little worried about vandalism and,
We couldn't put it
so-
in
The
that.
site work is actually minimal.
We have too much going on, that we couldn't put it there. That's why I think
right,
it's only 100 yards away,
just-
you know?
Move this
Yeah,
along.
move it once. Don't-
Okay,
And then
we
we
all
can-
agree to move it on. Anne Marie, can you start the process, please?
Sure.
Okay,
So,
so you can work
We've
with,
been
the-
chomping
and
at
we
the
can
bit
send a
this for a
draft to
couple
the
of years.
board. We can do it through email, and then we can do a resolution.
Yeah, we just want to be involved, because we have a lot of things that we know the residents would want, so please just bring us as part of the process.
You're
Yeah.
crucial, because we need to prove the community benefit, and we need your input, obviously.
Right. So my recommendation is send over your proposal to the town attorney and myself. I'll make sure I forward you our contact information.
I have it.
Legally, it's all online, the legal parameters of what the agreement has to include.
You know,
It's all there, in the
They're in
opinions,
good-
the
they-
law.
the town and our clients are in good hands with us. You know, you got good legal
And,
representation.
and when you do send a possible draft, you can CC the board on it also.
Yeah,
And then Anne Marie will, that way we can have individual discussions, and Anne Marie can continue working, and that would help it move along.
that'd be great.
Okay, so you can get, Ray will give you our emails if you don't have them.
Okay.
And we already have plans for community benefit. That's why we got involved in this in the first place. That's what we do.
You're very
I don't
enthusiastic already.
Doubt that for a second,
Right.
Jordan. I know how you work.
Don't mess with Jordan, I'll tell you.
Yeah, George. Great to see
Look
you
out,
smiling
soccer
like that.
moms.
Thank
You
you
have
so
nothing
much.
on
Well,
hockey
gentlemen,
moms.
thank you. Happy Father's Day.
Build it.
Thank you very
Build
much.
it. Let's go, let's
They
go
won't
forward.
go.
That's it.
I'm gonna be out there with skates.
Thank you very much.
Very
All right.
welcome.
Thank you.
Have a good Father's Day again.
Thank you.
All right, be safe.
Thanks, Ashley.
So long.
Is that a picture of what the second rink's gonna look like? All right, I'm for it. Yes, sir.
You're good friends with my brother, Christopher Kiley.
Oh, yes, I know Chris very well, yeah, yeah, Newfield
Yes.
graduate, yep.
Yes, and your
Yes.
mother, I was close with.
Yep, Mark, yep,
Senator.
yep.
So what?
There we go.
He allegedly was a good soccer player.
Ice
let me
hockey,
see how he-
ice hockey
yeah.
mostly.
He was-
My brother's,
My brother, but you played soccer. right?
yeah, we played travel soccer and stuff like that.
Well, I have it on record, he's getting on skates, and he's gonna show us what he has.
Absolutely.
Where'd you grow up?
Selden.
Yeah.
Yeah, we grew up in Selden.
Yep.
But,
Did you go to New Lane School by any chance?
We should have you on skates
father taught
also.
Once my knee gets better, I will.
You would?
Yeah.
Oh, look,
Tell
we have
Kristen said hi,
somebody for
I
you.
played a little
Yeah,
bit.
I will, and that's, because for me, I have four
I'm
kids.
nowhere
None of
near
them have the
accomplished
opportunity
like
to play
Ken.
hockey. I live out in Manatee, so this is
Oh, yeah,
perfect.
yeah, yeah,
This is a
yeah.
We're on
no-brainer for
TV
me.
Right.
and holding a meeting.
That's okay.
By the way, just so you know.
And oh, hello,
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah, this is being
got it.
taped live, and it goes on TV, so,
All right, thank
Have a
you.
good day. Good
yeah,
luck.
thank you. So long. All right, thank you, everyone, and next I'm gonna have Devin come up and read the resolutions for today, and good morning, Devin.
good morning.
I just want to take one moment out while I have you up here. Unfortunately, I was out sick with some asthma and got complicated by COVID. We're all back. Nothing was lost. The council members that kept in touch with me, thank you. We moved forward, nothing was lost. Great to see that we could be virtual and I can listen to meetings while I'm laying in bed and be part of it. And I just want to thank you, Devin. The amount of work that you put in, the caring, to keep everything together, and pretty much flawless. And sometimes we forget to thank our employees for their hard work, and I want to thank you for everything that you did.
Well,
And
thank
with
you very
that-
much. Unnecessary, but appreciated. Thank you. If we're ready for resolutions?
I think it was necessary. Good job.
Okay, we ready? Resolution number 1, appoints a seasonal recreation aide 2 to the Recreation Department. Number 2, appoints a seasonal recreation aide 2 to the Recreation Department. Number 3, ratifies the appointment of a seasonal office assistant. Number 4, appoints a call-in recreation specialist to the Recreation Department. Number 5, appoints a call-in recreation specialist to the Recreation Department. Number 6, ratifies the appointment of a seasonal registered nurse to the Recreation Department. Number 7, appoints deputy financial administrator. Number 8, 2022-23 CHIPS Road Resurfacing Grant CP 52211 budget adoption. Number 9, 2022-23 Pave New York Road Resurfacing Grant CP 52212. Number 10, 2022-23 EWR Road Resurfacing Grant CP 52213. And number 11, 2022-23 Pave Our Potholes POP Road Resurfacing Grant CP 52214 budget adoption. Number 12, North Point Development Sewer Capital Project number 82209 budget adoption. Number 13, Justice Court Equipment Purchase Budget Amendment. Number 14, Riverhead Sewer District Capital Project number 82210 Class A Biosolids Facility budget adoption. Number 15, extends bid for removal of household hazardous waste. Number 16, extends bid Nunc Pro Tunc for disposal and recycling of municipal solid waste. Number 17, authorizes notice to bidders, Test Well Program Phase 2, rebid Contract A, installation of monitoring wells Contract B, installation of test boring, Riverhead Water District Capital Project Number 4, RDWD 1804. Number 18, authorizes SC Net Worth, Inc., DBA Diggers Fine Food and Spirits, Diggers, to conduct outdoor dining and alcohol service at the Alive on 25 Street Festival on July 1, July 15, July 29, August 12, 2022, rain date August 19, 2022, 5 p.m. to 9:30 p.m., adjacent to Diggers Main Street entranceway, suspends Riverhead Town Code Section 253, permit for outdoor dining as solely limited to the aforementioned dates, time, and place of the Alive on 25 Street Festival. Number 19, approves special event Chapter 255 application for Halleckville Museum Farm Country Fair. Number 20, authorizes the removal of all litter, garbage, refuse, rubbish, yard waste, weeds, noxious plants, grass, and/or rank vegetation in excess of 10 inches in height upon the premises known as 225 Pulaski Street, Riverhead, New York, a.k.a. Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-126-1-23 pursuant to Riverhead Town Code, Chapter 251. Number 21, authorizes town clerk to publish and post notice to consider a local law to amend Chapter 211, Article 3, Section 14 of the Riverhead Town Code.
Not I.
That one I'm comfortable enough saying confidently.
Can we just clarify that one, like,
Clarify,
yeah, just what,
number 21?
yeah.
I think it's an overgrown site that the owner is not taking care of, so I think the town's going to go in and take care of it, then they're going to send them the bill. But Anne Marie can clarify if I missed anything.
It goes to the resolution just prior to.
No, I'm sorry, I'm going on Resolution 21, the next one.
22?
So 22?
21-211.
Yep, that was the
Chapter
one we were
211.
just speaking of.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, that was 20.
Beaches and parks.
Yeah, 21, I'm sorry, is the one Eric, the town attorney, emailed you guys about this morning.
Oh, with the non-resident
Yes.
stickers, yes.
Yeah, it was the right way to go about.
Okay, so this is just that
We're
public
making
hearing.
it by resolution, we're not gonna sell, non-resident beach stickers, as opposed to years prior, it was done under COVID.
Since COVID, been extending it, but
We're making this now
this is
as a
now going to be a
resolution
permanent thing.
to
Okay.
codify it.
Thank you, got it.
We were able to change it under executive order,
Yes,
but now that it's not existent, so
Right.
he's going through the legal avenue.
got it. Thank you.
Resolution number 22 authorizes selling of the 2022 daily boat launch permit by Warren's Tackle Center. Number 23, grants extension of special permit for the application known as 1535 Route 58 LLC for a proposed car wash facility located at 1418 Old Country Road, Riverhead, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-101-2-12.6. Number 24, authorizes the supervisor to sign a professional services agreement with Sam Schwartz Consulting LLC. Number 25, authorizes the supervisor on behalf of the Riverhead Water District to execute a professional service agreement with Steve Calabufo. And number 26, pays the bills.
Absolutely. Thank you, Devin. In a moment, I'm going to ask for the first and a second to go into executive session to discuss a personnel item regarding matters surrounding the hiring of an employee in the water department. And can I please have a first and a second to enter into executive session, please?
Motion?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, all opposed? So move, and thank you, everyone. Please be safe, enjoy this wonderful weather, and we'll see you Tuesday, at Tuesday's meeting.